Well, let's bring in Bharath Reddy now in Bengaluru, India. He's a fellow on high tech at the Takshashila Institution. Welcome to the program, Bharath. These one-person companies in China are seen as an antidote to fears that AI could put us on the path to mass unemployment. Are those fears justified, do you think, or is it more likely to reshape jobs and create new roles rather than eliminate them altogether?
Thank you for having me. And I guess some of these fears are overstated. So AI is likely to restructure how teams work, restructure maybe how some jobs can be done. So there are certain kinds of jobs, but maybe like the document review, which was just discussed, that that are much easier to do with AI. But it's different to deliver prototype something and showcase it, but to deliver a mature, reliable product is actually a different, much more complex process, and that requires a much more thorough, rigorous production-ready software to make that possible, right? So you still need humans who can take responsibility for what is delivered and to be held accountable for what is delivered. So I guess while some of these prototyping would still be possible, and you see a lot of startups being able to do this, you need people who can eventually vouch for that reliability of these things, and that's going to be a much slower process to be able to to replace that.
Yes, and that is one of the upsides of AI, isn't it? It effectively lowers the cost of starting a business. But how does this shift the economy when a single person can now produce as much as a whole department?
Yeah, so obviously, so it's going to change how you think of a company. There's going to be maybe a lot more innovation. So you can think of it as displacing certain kinds of jobs, but it'll also reshape the market in a way that the threshold of barriers to innovation are brought down, and you have a lot more creativity being enabled, a lot more innovation being enabled. But this is going to be a slightly maybe a rapid process where you see disruption in certain highly exposed areas. And yeah, when you have so much of innovation coming out, it'll be harder to stand out, to be recognized, and startups need to be a little more creative in how they get this kind of visibility. And it also changes how investors or consumers will be able to discover these kind of products. So maybe there will be a restructuring from investors as well in how many startups they fund, or how they go about discovering talent, right? So all of these are things that will change, and it's a rapidly evolving field. So you'll be seeing some things changing very quickly.
Well, that is one of the flip sides of this trend, isn't it? Because if anyone can open a company and the barrier to entry is so low that anyone with a laptop can essentially start a firm, how do these companies stand out in such a crowded market? Is it about innovation or better marketing? How can they do that, do you think?
It's I guess you'll have a combination of different things. So there's going to be a lot of fierce competition, first of all, because when the threshold for innovation has been reduced, when the entry barriers are reduced, so you'll see a lot more people trying new things. So we all know of someone who's launched an app on their own, or experimented with vibe coding, and are able to do cool things that were not possible earlier, right? So the barriers have certainly reduced, and what that means for discoverability, and it's going to be a challenge, and you'll see a lot of people having to be creative for being to be recognized, right? And maybe there'll be some kind of your history in what you've done before. Maybe those kind of credentials will be a signal for people to take you seriously, or for people to invest in what you're doing, right? So those markers will become important as well.
Okay, Bharath Reddy, really good to get your analysis. Thank you again for joining us.